You're watching Global Watch on CGTN. Sunday marks the Qingming Festival in China. Qingming, also known as Tomb Sweeping Day, is believed to have a history of about 2,500 years. Chinese people pay respects to the dead and their ancestors by visiting tombs and making offerings. As weather gets warmer, some people also choose to spend a three-day holiday traveling. Now, for more on this particular day, let's cross live to our reporter Liu Jiaxing in Beijing. Hello, Jiaxing. We know this is a travel peak for China as many people return home to honor loved ones that have passed. Tell us a little bit more about the traffic situation.
Yes, Pando. On Saturday, the first day of the holiday, China's passenger flow reached its peak this year so far, with more than 14 million trips by train and more than 1.5 million trips by air. The number of air trips is almost triple that of the same day last year and close to that in 2019. More than 100 million trips are expected to be made during this three-day holiday, double the number in 2020 and about 90% of its level for the same period in 2019. Most of the travelers were going home this time as many people stayed during the Lunar New Year holiday in February to minimize the COVID-19 risks. Back to you, Pando.
So, Jiaxing, we know the pandemic is not totally gone, but the situation this year in China is much better than that was last year. Tell us a little bit more about this year's difference.
Right, Pendon. I'm glad you mentioned that up. Although the increase in the number of trips reflects the good results of China's epidemic prevention and control, the government still reminds holidaymakers not to take it lightly. So this year's travel tips include to keep adequate disinfection materials ready at all times, wear masks in crowded places, get vaccinations as soon as possible, and take good rests. Travel to open suburbs and book sites ahead of time. Speaking of that, China has launched online funeral services for those who can't physically make it to the site. Again, these notes won't be out of date as China has another major holiday coming soon at the beginning of May, the International Walkers' Day, and these will definitely help in another travel rush then. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, our reporter Liu Jiaxing in Beijing. And our reporter Cao Bing filed this report on this year's Qingming commemorations.
With gifts like flowers in hand, families finally got the long-awaited chance to pay tribute to their loved ones on Qingming Festival. A manager from Beijing's Babaoshan Renmin Cemetery said the number of people coming to this site has increased largely compared with last year, when restrictions prevented many from doing so.
Last year, around 3,000 people came here during the Qingming holiday. This year is 3 times that number, around 9,000.
Meng says this number is based on appointments made. He said all visitors need to make an appointment in advance by phone or online. They need to book not only the date, but also the specific hour for tomb sweeping in order to avoid too many people being there at once, even if the epidemic is largely under control in China. Other epidemic prevention measures are also in effect.
People need to show their green health code before they can enter. We also undertake thorough disinfection every 2 hours. Hand sanitizer stations can be found here and there. All cemetery employees wear masks and gloves while working to prevent any possibility of virus transmission.
Many of those at Babaoshan this year came with mixed feelings.
I asked the workers here to take care of the sweeping in my stead last year. I'm thankful I could come in person this year.
I feel a sense of relief. It's been 2 years since I came here last time. I really missed visiting my parents here.
Going to the cemetery together for tomb sweeping enables family members to enhance their bonds and get closer to their loved ones. Meanwhile, such activity is also a sign that the life is gradually getting back to normal here in China. Cao Bing, CGTN, Beijing.
Now, Sunday marks Qingming Festival or Tomb Sweeping Day in China. For more insights into this occasion, let's talk to Mr. Teng Jimeng, a senior research fellow with the Center for China and Globalization. So, Mr. Teng, let's start with the cultural significance of this particular occasion in China. Why it's so important for the Chinese people on Qingming commemorations. And we can see it's not only about commemorating your loved ones or ancestors, it's also about commemorations for the martyrs who sacrificed for the betterment of this nation.
Well, absolutely. I think you are right. I think translated Qingming, literally a pure righteous festival that embraces an awakening of the natural world through Qingming Festival, meaning to pay the respect and to be awakened by this very new dawning of a new season, a warm and also a treasured new beginning in our life. And secondly, once again, like you said, it's all about remembering and commemorating those people and those we love that have passed away. And what we do as a ritual, or maybe a rite, is to sweep the tombs of those deceased, of those who died for the betterment of this great society. And in this sense, I think it is a great cultural heritage, which means so much to the Chinese people.
And also, Mr. Teng, tell us a little bit more about changes of customs on this occasion.
Well, once again, I think the essence of the festival remained the same, as it is expressed so very well by this very Confucian philosopher back in the past, Xunzi, and that is to treat death as it lives and treat the past as it remains. So things that remains unchanged. It's all about remembering the dead and also remembering the past. But then the way we celebrate it are changing. The way that we observe this great holiday is changing. Nowadays, for example, people travel so much. The holiday or the very rituals or the festivals is not about simply remembering the dead, the tragic, the very sad part of the festival, but it's also about being joyful. It's also about being able to walk out in the great spring and see the beginning of the world and see the beginning of life. And so right now, especially for young people, it's basically for the beginning. It's basically for the celebration of life, of being able to live and living in this great world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Teng Qingming there.
Thank you.